If you're getting chased by Burt Reynolds, you know you're in for a wild ride. The Torment of Laurie stars Shannon Scott and is directed by Mark Dossett. So The Torment of Laurie is about Laurie, and she suffers from agoraphobia. You see, Laurie had a really bad experience at a mall a year ago where she was attacked, and ever since then she can't leave her house. She's completely afraid to be outdoors. And throughout the movie, all these strange occurrences start happening, and then slowly but surely she starts losing her mind. And first off, before I get into this review, let me just say that this is only available through VHX. You cannot get this through Netflix. You cannot get this through iTunes. And Mark Dossett wanted to put it out through VHX because horror fans can get it for a much cheaper price, which I think is great. So I'll post a link below to the VHX site where you can rent this movie or even buy it. But what I like about this movie is not only is it a kind of a home invasion type movie, but it's also a psychological horror movie, really. Throughout most of this movie, you as a viewer are wondering if Laurie is actually losing her mind. Very early on in the movie, you start thinking that. Part of the reason for that is because she is agoraphobic. And this is a fear that can plague the mind. And agoraphobia is really a character in the movie if you think about it. It adds another level of tension aside from this killer. Also, I like that opening crawl. It reminds me of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre where you have that opening crawl. And what's cool about that is that after you watch the movie, you're immediately gonna wanna go do research on the movie because it is something that could actually happen. It does happen. There are countless people who have agoraphobia. And also I love that this movie is set in the 80s. I am a sucker for 80s horror movies. And director Mark Dossett really sets that up. He pays attention to detail. You'll even see these in the movie. I really miss these actually. This is a VHS player, and there's an old VHS tape that I had from years ago. See if I can get it out of here. And yeah, this was a TV copy of Halloween 2 when they released it on TV. But yeah, I love nostalgia. I love 80s movies. And also I think the characters were in much more danger in these movies because you didn't have cell phones and you didn't have texting and you didn't have all that stuff. I recently did a review for the movie Hush, and the cell phone plays a big part in that movie. Every horror movie that comes out today, you have to work around that whole cell phone angle. Even The Shallows makes use of the cell phone, even though it's a shark attack movie. Also, I really enjoyed Shannon Scott as Laurie. The filmmakers do a good job of building her character up. You are really with her throughout most of this movie. So by the time she is really in danger, then you care what happens to her. And I will say the third act to me is definitely the best part of this movie, as it should be in a horror movie. And I also like some of the music that's actually used in this movie. I think if you use music that is quite the juxtaposition of the events that are going on, it can really work to the benefit. A perfect example is Mr. Sandman in Halloween 2. The song sounds very joyous, but the events that are happening in Halloween 2 are anything but that. So every time I hear that song now, it really just has this creepy vibe to it. And the same goes for this movie. Now for the cons, this is low budget filmmaking. And that in and itself is a challenge for a filmmaker. As a matter of fact, Mark Dossett only had around 3 people on set most of the time. Maybe 5 people if he was lucky. So you have to find ways to get creative to work around that. As a matter of fact, I talk a lot about that in the recent documentary that I did on independent horror that I will be releasing pretty soon. But this is a perfect example of that. And I think overall, Mark Dossett does a great job with that. But there are limitations in the movie. This doesn't have that big budget horror feel to it like, say, Lights Out does. But the good news is that doesn't take you out of the movie. You are still invested in the story, you're invested in the character all the way to the end. And I do like the ending of this movie. And make sure you stay after the credits because there's a really important scene after. Overall, I'm gonna give this movie a high humdrum. I think if you're a horror fan, especially a slasher fan or psychological horror, then you will enjoy this movie. So make sure you guys go to the VHX link and try this movie out. And that's the nice thing about the digital age is we do have that option now. We don't have to run to the video store and look for one of these. Anyway guys, don't forget to join the Killer Flicks Facebook group where we talk horror all day, every day. Like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. That's my dog howling right now. I have to wait for him to stop his damn howling. We'll enjoy it together. Like, subscribe, comment, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd, and Humdrum out.